everybody. Welcome to FMA Discussion. This is episode 322, and tonight we have Chris LaCava and Chris Smith coming on. And this could be in regards to the seminar we're doing coming this Sunday, but also a trip. Chris, as you know, used to live in Connecticut, and he's coming back up. And while he's back up here, he's going to do kind of a sequence of seminars. And if I'm not mistaken, I think they're consecutive, but I'll let him speak on that. So if you're watching, tell us where you're watching from. Smash that like button. Chris Smith is, I'm assuming, just running a little late. I haven't got a message from him, so I don't think it's tech issues. But Chris is here, so we're going to get started without Chris Smith. And without further ado, here he comes. Hey.
What's up?
I just put the volume up just a bit. Yeah, so we'll get started. Chris, I haven't got a message from him, so I told him to access the link through his email, which seemed to work out great. So I'm gonna assume that's, so maybe he's running a little late or what have you. But I definitely would have got a message from him if there was something else going on. So I think. But we'll get started. So you're leaving. You're leaving pretty soon. You're leaving what, tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Yeah, I'm leaving butt crack this morning. Coming tonight.
Yeah, and you got a ride. And folks, again, this is going to be more just talking about his trip, Beat 'em, Treat 'em tour, and the seminar we're jointly doing together this Sunday. However, if you wanted to see Chris LaCava's episode where it's more on the bio, that would be episode 240. You can reference that, and he talks about his bio, multi-Stockton, and what have you. And for Chris Smith, episode 13, like ancient, like when I didn't know what I was doing. So, and I pretended, but
make it till you make it, brother.
And they fell for it. But at any rate, so yeah, you're leaving tomorrow morning, and you got a long ride ahead of you. And your first stop sounds like New York.
Gardner, New York.
And what's the plan there?
So I happen to be very fortunate. All the hosts wanted the same topic. I was like, okay, that's cool. That's easy for me.
The multi?
They actually wanted like a lot of disarms.
Oh, so, okay.
Empty hand disarm, single stick disarm, double stick disarm. Those disarms. I'm like, that's cool. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, whatever they want. Give them what they want.
Yeah. Hey, you're providing a service. Provide a good service.
That's it. And we got some folks jump in. We got Terry. We got Eric O'Brien. We got Chad, Jason Ward, and we got Maestro Chad Bailey. Hey, guys.
Awesome. What's up, guys?
Good to see you here. And if you're jumping in, folks, again, Chris Smith hopefully will be joining us. I can't give a count of what's going on. I received no message. Speak of the devil.
Incoming.
Woo! And it just came.
You guys hear me? You don't hear me at all. I don't hear you at all.
You can't hear us
again.
Oh no!
Hold on.
Did you access it through the email? I'm gonna assume yes. Can't be anything that's serious. Hopefully not. But so yeah, while he's getting that straightened out, first stop New York, disarms is on the table.
Yep.
And where's this located?
This is in Gardner, New York at wow, right out of my head. Got a lot of stuff to do before I leave. So it's at Fighting Spirit Karate in Gardner, New York. It's a Kyokushin. These guys are hardcore.
Where's Gardner? I'm not.
Right over. Oh gosh, it's near. I want to say the Stewart Air Force Base.
So, like in relation to the city of Brewster, for instance.
Oh, Brewster. I'm going to say from Brewster, it is west of Brewster.
Okay. All right, just an idea. Okay. All right. So
I don't think it's in Westchester County, but
That's what I was wondering. Okay, yeah.
So it's
But
kind of close to us.
okay.
Relatively. I'd say
Can you
about
hear
40.
us?
It's
I
about
can now. Yeah, we're good.
Oh, good. Okay,
45
good, good,
minutes
good.
out of Danbury, which is right near Brewster, right over the line.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually grew up in Danbury.
I went to my stomping grounds for WestCon. City Limits,
Ooh, AKs.
Thursdays, Gillies.
Yep.
I was a
And
regular.
everybody knows from Danbury, if you were hanging out, Three Brothers Diner.
Three Brothers Diner. I frequented often, and not only that, um, there was like I was going to WestCon when it got voted like the best city. It was it was the best small city.
And we all go, really?
Yeah. It was 89 or 90. Yeah.
All right.
Wow. And the Tuxedo Junction, right? That was the place that everyone used to go to also, right?
Tuxedo Junction. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Hive Street was hopping.
Yeah, it was Thursday. Actually, those were the four. So if you were in Danbury, it was Gillies, Tuxedo Junction, Thursdays, and City Limits.
Yep.
If you wanted to be by the water, down at Hatch,
Yeah.
and Kenwood Lake, and so those were the ground. I mean, those were the days, man. Those were
memories.
I know. I can't even think about it. I'm gonna start crying.
I saw Run DMC at Tuxedo Junction.
Oh,
I saw Sonic Youth there.
Wow.
Sonic
I opened up for
Youth.
Warrant at Tuxedo Junction.
Did you?
I did. Yep.
That's funny. You opened for heavy metal. You saw Run DMC, and I freaking punk grunge Sonic Youth.
Yeah.
They played everybody there.
Eclectic.
Very eclectic.
What a mix.
Yeah. Jeez. Wow. So folks, if you're jumping in, feel free to insert your questions. We will definitely answer them and get to them. So I'm excited. So Sunday. So we were kind of talking about that during the test run, as far as like what we're going to do or what we thought we were going to do and how we maybe perhaps piggyback off one another, what have you. So what say you on that, Chris?
Well, I'm kind of bringing it back to something that we had talked about earlier today, and that was how it's not just the one system or the one style. And I mean look at you, for instance, right? You're into you've gone way off the reservation in the most positive sense,
I know, but I'm going to give you why. It has to do with you.
and you know what I don't see now. I mean, like, I know a lot of people who, I mean, are doing FMA now, and I would say that it might be at an all-time high as far as popularity goes. But like, you've got some groups that like they just do that one thing, and I would never say it's wrong to be like, I'm just doing this system, this route, this is it. I'm only doing this and nothing else. I just think it might be boring.
It would for me. I think it's based on the individual because, it's funny, by virtue of this show, we've kind of covered that indirectly. And so the answer was that they just, it was easy for them just to stick in one lane and really become just expert, quote unquote, master level in that one lane. And then on the flip side of the coin, which you just mentioned, the boredom. Like for me, like I would have been bored 10 years ago on that, 5 years ago. Now, if you were to tell me like, okay, this is it, I'm just going to do one, it would be KI. Like I go, okay, you know what? That's fine. I could just rest my life. I could just refine KI, but why? It's probably maturity, maybe martial art maturity. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm more grounded now to like accept that I could just do one. Before I was bing, bing, bing,
and then you see not all of the systems that are practiced nowadays spar. And I know the Stockton guys, they spar. I mean, Dean, that's your favorite thing. And I think once you start introducing the sparring, they almost kind of, you're not doing the one system anymore. You're doing you You know what I mean? You're doing what you don't want to get hit upside the head with a stick, and you don't want to get cut with a training blade. You know what I mean? Like, so
when things start really flying, things change fast.
Yes.
And
yeah,
I agree.
No, good points. I mean, like, I just want to, for the folks that you mentioned, like, way back when I started, after an ensemble blend, getting it from you and going, amok or AWOL. It was really due to you and what you instilled in me. Say, hey, look, man, it's your journey, man. Do what you want, and that really resonated with me. And yeah, I think you created a monster, man, because it went from going to different systems, creating Blade Tech, now this. So you created a monster, man. I mean, but I always tell people it's a lot of it's due to you and that freedom of expression that you instilled in me, and not being captive and no indentured servitude. And yeah, so I to this day, I greatly appreciate what you instilled me in that, because it's definitely has a lot to do with you and what you preached, so yeah.
Thanks. But something, on the back end of things, I get to reap the benefits, because like now you've been exposed to so much new stuff and different stuff.
But what a wonderful circle, though.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to do. I'm honored to do, actually.
A lot of people are afraid. A lot of instructors are afraid to let their students go out and see other stuff. You got. I mean, I teach at a lot of martial art camps and whatnot, and they are so not about that. They are about check out as much as you can, right? And I love going to these camps. Like, I have met so many phenomenal martial artists going to these camps. I mean, just people I would never have met in day-to-day life normally, but I've met a lot of, Japanese martial artists, Korean martial artists, FMA practitioners that I was just like, wow, this is awesome. And you get to actually pick their brain and train with them for a little bit and see what's going on. And when you start opening your eyes, you're like, and that's money right there. When you can start seeing that, instead of looking at it as, from like some other teacher saying, oh, well, they realize I don't know everything. Yeah, you're human. Nobody knows everything.
Yeah.
So it's like, whatever, as long as you have your students' best interest in heart, that's where it's at. If I'm not good at something, I'm gonna tell my student, you know what?
I'm not your guy, good at that.
But I know a guy.
He might be the guy to go see.
Right? I mean? Or I can point them in the direction, like, hey, if you want to get good at this, check out these guys, check out this style, check out whatever, whether it's a practitioner or a style. I can push them towards a direction. The people we train with are the people we train with, we hang with, Sure. It's not necessarily like they're going to leave. It's just like they're focusing on something else, but they're still hanging with you. They're still training with you.
Sure.
It's like, whatever.
I just think, I think people appreciate that. Like, it's integrity to self and honesty to your students. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think students see that, and I think they appreciate that. Like, hey, God, he was really honest with me. He said he didn't have the answers, but he referred me to someone who does. Like, I think there's appreciation for that by students. I really do.
That's a whole lot of respect going thrown around.
Sure.
It's respect for your student because you want their best. Also, respect for another practitioner, that you respect their technique and their style and the way they move. That's just throwing respect all over.
Yeah, like that indentured servitude. Like I tell you, one of the things I tell people, I say, when you go train with somebody, just my opinion, but when you go and they talk badly about other people within a group setting, or they tell you don't go train, like run out the door. They don't have your.
We've all been there.
They don't have your journey.
We've all been in those classes.
Yeah.
And
we got Steve Brody. We got wow. Things grow through exchange,
not exclusion.
Exclusions. Yeah, seriously. Right? I encourage my students across. Yeah, right on, Chad. Yeah, and we got GM Ray Thompson from the Philippines. All right. Cool. Yeah,
and Chad Bailey saying I encourage my students to cross train. Absolutely, I agree 100% with him.
I try to check mine out and go find answers and come back.
What helped me a lot was jujitsu. So like, because I think 6 black belts now, and that I've students that I've groomed to black belt.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
I thought you had 6 black belts. I was like, damn, brother, you man, I ain't messing with you.
And they all are different. Their style of practice is very uniquely different. Probably because of body type. That's definitely the first place you would look. But like some of them play the game completely different than me, and it's like I'll go, you know what? I can't do that. I can teach you how to do it, but I can't do it. Or let me rewind. I can do it as a technique, but I can't do it live because it just doesn't work for my game. But then they'll come back and they'll go and play around with it, and they're like, hey, but have you thought about this? And have you tried doing it this way? And it's like, oh, I never thought of it that way before.
Yeah.
And I think we should probably be doing the same thing with the Filipino arts, because there's so many different flavors, and you got some guys who just focus on blade, or and even with that, some guys are sword, some guys are knife, some guys might only do stuff with like a tactical folder sized knife. Some are doing stuff with like their blade system is something about the size of a chef's knife. Yeah, then there's the stick. And personally, I like the stick because it's got more distance. And I can't carry a sword, but I can carry a stick. As soon as it gets that closer range with the short knife, with the tactical folder, you really need to rethink what led you to that situation that day. Like, you probably should have stayed home. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I could have just stayed in bed, called out, but something has
another bad decision I've made in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. So
no, I think that's but I gotta say so, and I probably wouldn't be privy to this or have noticed it as much had I not been doing this show. But I can honestly say, since the inception of the show, which was late fall 2019 to present day, I've definitely seen more in the cross training, more in different camps interacting. I'm absolutely sure that COVID 100% has something to do with that, with the Zoom training. Definitely influx and a growth in that area. So people are doing it, I think, actually, in my opinion, as a result of that, more than ever, that I've noticed and seen. And I'm hoping it continues even when COVID goes away. Matter of fact, one of the things if you guys recall, I started in the group there was these online seminars, joint seminars. I said, look, I'll do the first few, but I'm hoping people will piggyback off that and they can get together and do them. And FMA discussion will make the flyer, we'll back you up, we'll promote it, the whole 9 yards. But the reason why I thought of that was to continue to perpetuate that cross training, even though COVID now hopefully is leaving or has left us, that would continue. But I definitely seen a dramatic growth in that, and more crossover,
About time, right? The only good thing that came out of the pandemic.
Exactly. But
I have a jilted look at that. It's just because me and my buddies, that's what we always did. We always
but the whole everybody. I know you have.
I mean,
as a norm,
I'm seeing it more now. But I mean, that's just. I mean, that was just the way we all rolled. It was. We had fun with it. We said, "What if this?" And we tried what if, and a lot of stuff didn't work, and some stuff did, and we're like, "Oh, amazing!"
Yeah.
But you got to have those types of people who are open to that kind of thing. Which, I mean, fortunately for me, I had the community of martial artists that were like, "Yo, let's play." I'm like, "All right, let's do that."
Yeah, but as a whole, though, the FMA community as a whole, I mean, generally speaking, unfortunately, doesn't invoke that spirit.
Well, it does and it doesn't. It does. I mean, we're seeing more now.
No, we
seeing
are. Yeah,
events,
100%.
like we were talking about before with Krampus, with Chris Cabin down in Georgia, and a lot of other, Sparbecue and all these other things where people are just having a good time training, swinging sticks at each other, and those kinds of things that need to happen more.
Yeah, and I agree. And like there's certain no, I agree. And it has improved. I'm hoping, like, for instance, doing this stuff in Connecticut, I'm hoping that I can improve in Connecticut. There's no reason why I can't or shouldn't. I mean, as well as other states. So, but down there, man, what the state that I think is really does an incredible job at that. Besides some, obviously, I think California has some spots where they do that, of course. Florida, man,
There's a
Florida,
lot of FMA practitioners in Florida.
they get together, man. It doesn't matter to me. That state is the state to emulate in what they do down there as far as cross training. I commend them for what they do down there. It doesn't matter what system, whatever. Those guys get together and frequently,
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. I mean, look at all the practitioners down there, just that we know. We got Chad, who's happy to be here. Chad Bailey, Bruce too. You got Gladys. You got the rest
Frank, Dwight Wood.
And you've got the Orlando Eskrima guys. All those. They're all nasty practitioners, which would be great to get together with.
Yeah, there's a bunch down there. Yeah.
You know what I wanted to ask both of you guys. And it doesn't have to be this big, huge thing. In fact, I would hopefully there's maybe small nuggets from different individuals. So you guys, you've been exposed to different sources. What are some, I don't know, either really cool stories or really cool nuggets of information from any one of the instructors that you've trained with that made you just go, oh, wow. Gould. I never saw that before. I didn't think of that before.
With David Gould.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Eric O'Brien, that Lou Tang clan ain't nothing to a muck with Florida, baby. That's one of my Piper students. That guy's crazy.
Nice.
I'll be honest. One thing that I look at, I mean, coming from an academia background, I've taught at universities and stuff like that, how people teach, I really take a look at that. Like when I'm at seminars, because I do, yes, I teach a lot of seminars, or I have taught a lot of seminars. I'm looking to do, get back on the game and whatnot. But I take a lot of seminars. And besides the material that they're teaching, it's how are they presenting the information. And, I'm just throw this name out. He's here, so might as well give him props. Is that I was at an event in South Carolina. It was a big martial arts camp, Shirite Jiu-Jitsu International. I'm sorry if I don't get the name right, but it was an awesome event. And Chad Bailey taught there. And one of the things Chad did was that he was doing a concept, but made a drill out of it. And I was like, oh, that's slick. I like that. So, and he was cool enough. Once again, he's like, yeah, I got a handout for it. Yeah, we can go over it. Hey, you want to? And we shot a little video of it so I wouldn't forget, because I'm a very visual and kinesthetic learner. You tell me it, I don't remember it. You show me, I'm like, oh, okay, all right. But then if you make me do it, then I learn it even more. So he was very cool about that. So that's one nugget that I took, about one, his style, but also his teaching, which I highly respected for that. So, as far as being a specific thing, I love seeing good instructors, and that for me, and I love seeing good Filipino martial arts instructors, because a lot of times with FMA, you don't have a structured curriculum, or it's kind of like, oh, we'll teach you a little this, we'll teach you a little that, and whatever happens at the moment, which is cool at certain times. But when you see somebody who steps up to the plate and is like, all right, y'all, this is how you're going to get from point A to point B. It's like solid. So
cool.
With me, oh, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I keep going, keep going.
Yeah, no. So with me, well, you've seen witness David Gould. To me, it's somebody who can relay attribute development where after seeing them, your attribute development tools have improved. Like I saw that guy. In other words, like look at it from a perspective of when I first went to go see him, 4 hours each day, 8 hours, right? Okay. So saw him again. So 16 hours total. And after that 16 hours, even John Kelly said that he could just tell the difference and like everything I was doing with night. And when I look at that, so 16 hours. So look at that if you're an electrician, computer analyst, whatever your profession is, and you go to a seminar or the company sends you on a way to a getaway to further enhance your ability to do your job or improve status quo. And you come back from those 2 days, 16 hours, and you're doing everything better, like 30% better than that. And you saw it. I mean,
yeah,
that to me, like that is that is special that you can impart that in somebody and make them just like functionally just better without aspects of memorization. So that's what really stood out. The first thing that came to my mind, without really thinking about it.
Sure.
So,
That's awesome. That's awesome.
How about you?
For me, you know what? I'll tell you. I mean, there's been a couple of really cool things, but one thing in particular that stood out, and you might have even been there when it happened, but it was me, Ledney, and a couple others.
Greg
yeah, we were training with Greg, and something he was doing a drill, and he had me helping him do the drill.
Yeah.
And as we're going, at first I didn't get it, but now we've done it like 6 times, 10 times. Now I got it, and I'm keeping up. And then it kind of broke off into like very laid back, but sparring. Okay. And all of a sudden, I don't even remember what it was that he did, but he went from sparring back to the drill, but he changed the drill. And I was like, you cheated, you changed it. And he was like, yeah. He goes, your job is to stop me. And I was like,
that's right. His saying, can you stop me? Can I stop you?
Yeah. And I always thought that was pretty cool because, like, here it is. He was one of the few people who was never afraid to like break the rules. And I thought that was really cool.
You ever meet him, Chris? Greg Alon? Unfortunately, he passed away. Did you ever meet him?
No.
He was a Bikini Tertia guy. Under Guy Hay at the time.
What was his name?
Then he formed his own Bikini Tertia.
Who is it?
Basically double sticks and stuff.
Who was it?
Greg Alon.
Greg Alon. Yeah.
No.
Just somebody, if you could just meet him once or somebody you would just never get, like just funny. There was a charisma about him, captivating. I had to go in the back because that accent would come out. And I had to go in the back, man, because I just couldn't stop laughing.
What accent?
Pig, Filipino. And no disrespect, I loved him. I thought he was really enjoyed him and liked him, really. But this, Chris, am I wrong? This thing would
he was a character. He was a character.
And I had to go to the back. Not to be disrespectful and start laughing. I literally would have to go in the back just because it'd be like.
He was literally a character out of a movie. You know what I mean? Like if there was some kind of a comedy where there's some serious elements, and then like the instructors, you just didn't know what you were gonna get. But he put his time in. He had put his time in.
Oh no! He within the peak. He was talented. I mean, that's where I first learned duck up Punya. All those early
Oh yeah.
repeated drills. I got them all from either Greg Alon or Paul Ledney.
Right.
Who I wonder
Cool.
what happened to him, the porn star.
Whatever happened to him is still missing in action.
He's probably in porn.
You know.
He was. I'm telling you, he was. This guy was a character, Chris. Look how this guy was off the chain. Yeah, this guy was just like he's probably. I'm telling you, he's probably living in Malibu, California, because
shooting porn movies.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
So back in the day, I had a small apartment with some roommates when I was still in school, and you know, Dean had been there. We would just move the furniture out of the way, and we would train in my living room. And one day, Paul calls me. Yeah, I was like 98. Yeah, somewhere around there, 98, 97 maybe.
Both, yeah.
But about 97, 98. And I remember Paul calls me up and he's like, "Hey, can you come to Brewster to my house?" And I'm like, "Well, I mean, I guess, what's going on?" He's like, "I got these girls, they're gonna wrestle in Jello in my living room." And I'm like,
but no, I'm telling you, this guy was off the charts, man. Off the charts. This guy, like, you could get in a lot of trouble. Like, if you're married, you can't hang out with this guy. You can't. It's not like you cannot affiliate with this guy if you are like married. You can't. I mean, it's
okay.
Yeah. But so hey, kid, tell me. Let's do this. Again, folks, if you're watching, this is a show just to promote, talk about some stuff, various stuff, and that the fact that all three of us are doing a seminar this Sunday, 11 to 1 in Waterbury, Connecticut. Most amazing teacher that you saw him do something, you were just like, well, I can't believe he just did that. Chris LaCava. FMA related.
FMA related.
Yeah.
To be honest, you know, training FMA and whatnot, we do a lot of drills and all this kind of stuff. But once I saw June Gotico and Gene Innes go at it, like swinging like to the rafters at each other, and they're actually not getting hit, I was like, to me, that was like, oh my gosh. Yeah. And like, it wasn't like it was and like, and they were within range. So it's like, you know what I'm saying? It's one thing to like do like a roof block and you being out of range. It's like, yeah, okay. But when you are in range and that's coming straight at you, I'm like, whoa, that's awesome. And not just one hit, but like multiple hits, and like just you're going at it. I'm like, oh yeah,
sure.
I need some of that. I need to know how to do that. You know? So to me, that was a moment when I was like, oh
yeah, no. How about you, Chris?
I have two.
Sure.
One was like a personal experience, and I remember sparring with Guro Don Cuesta.
Yeah.
And he hit me behind the back. Like in sparring, real time, went behind his own back, and he scored a hit. I was like, time out. Yeah.
Where the hell that come
from? That kind of freaked me out. You know, in a good way. I was like, wait a second, that didn't just happen. You know, and then the first time I ever saw Grandmaster Kakoi.
Okay.
He impressed me because I shouldn't say this, but I'm going to. At the time, I was a little skeptical about the Escrito.
Oh, the judo. Yeah, okay.
And he made me a believer. I believed he could do it. I don't mine is not that good, but I believed he could do it.
Mm. They say David Gould said that was his area, man. That was his game.
Yeah.
You know, for him to say that. Mine is not the beat a dead horse in ground, David Gould.
Mm.
So we're doing feed for feed. Okay, Pensi Pasimba. I'm feeding him. He counters. He feeds me. So we're doing. You know, you've seen the PVC, 30 inches. You have the 12-inch knife, right? So he comes. I go fire late, and I'm going into Pluma for recovery because I know well, you know, man, he's coming back with something that ain't free. And all of a sudden, Aldibus came up. His tip just touched my nose like that, and he backed up. And I just stood there like he just pulled that off in like real time and all that, and just touched my nose. And I just stopped. I'm like, holy! I was just like, I was done. I'm like, that's it, man. You know, I was just like, I have another one, and see if you guys got more too. I have to say, within the realm of Kuntao, I think Ron's flows, like my first oh wow moment was watching Ron Kozakowski in his Kuntao flow and his element. Yeah. Like I have to say, within that art of his, or from Rossi, that was my first oh wow. Yeah.
Okay.
You know, it was Joe Rossi talking about it, but Ron actually doing it is where I learned the quarter turn.
Oh, the quarter turn with the
just in general, just the quarter turn as a tool.
Oh, so you got that pre-JKD from him? Oh yeah, okay.
Yeah,
all
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
You got any more, Chris LaCava? Any more like maybe came to mind like, holy crap? If not, no worries. I just thought maybe something else would come to your mind.
Are you trying to push me into a KI thing? No.
K.
KKI.
And I.
No, but if I do think of something, and
I'm
sure I have. It's just, you know, one of those things.
Yeah. If it comes to you, sure. Okay, let's do this. If you had the time to train another FMA system that would not interfere with status quo or your family life, what system would you choose?
This is how we finished my last interview with you, brother.
Let's hear it.
And yes, I'll say it again because I meant it. If it wouldn't interfere with anything, and I would like to pick Vico's brain and, you know, do a little KI stuff, you know, because I saw him move at Krampus and I was like, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I think I would delve into a little KI.
Sure.
Yeah.
Same question, Chris.
LaMaco.
No, man. That's as far as the separation of stick and edge weapon, I think LaMaco does one of the better jobs. Like I look at Mako fighters, man, like Gould, and that guy, man. Well, you've seen him, man. That guy's scary, man. That guy is the only guy that like spooked me. Like I'm like, this guy could like really like ruin my day.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm just being honest. And I don't think it was due to being away. I think that was part of it, maybe. Like you're away, you know, you're not in the beginning, you're not your best, you know, you're nervous, anxiety, you're away, you're sleeping in a different bed. I mean, you know, but I could make it all day, but that guy just,
Who's better you sleeping in there, Dean? What's going on here?
Hotel. Hey, hotel.
Okay. All right.
Just want to clarify that. It was in Mississippi. Okay. Super 8.
Yeah. But you know what it is that, like, you know, I attended 2 seminars with Edgar Salite, and I was too young to really I mean, I enjoyed it. I appreciated it. But if
there's a
this
whole
guy sitting
different-
right here, right now, were to go, I would have come back with so much more.
Oh yeah.
If you knew, you know what I mean? That's the thing too. It's like, you know, the things that the opportunities that we were afforded that perhaps we didn't see as significant back then, or that worth the time or the money to spend or do or pursue. Like I
Yeah.
look back and I'm like, man, why didn't I go to Princeton and see him? Why didn't I, like, after reading about him in the book, and that, because like when I look at the Filipino martial arts culture by Mark Wilde, there are two people that stood out to me. Was freaking PG Edgar, because I thought he was a JKD of Kali by all the systems he put together, and of course illustration. I mean, I'm like, holy crap! So I wish I freaking like did it. You know what I mean? Like
Sure.
you mentioned, you know. Yeah. So regrets. When we do this, let's segue into FMA regrets.
Ooh.
You have any, Chris? If you don't have any,
FMA regrets.
maybe somebody didn't pursue or system or
Sure. Not taking advantage of some of the. There's a couple, like, so I should have spent more time picking Eddie Hunt's brain, because he was willing to share the information.
Who was he under? Was he directly under Guy Hay, or was he under somebody else?
I thought he was with Tim Wade.
That's a great question. You know what? I think you might be right, because Tim Wade did. I think you're right, actually. Okay.
You know, I thought I mean, all of that lineage and stuff, but I know he and Tim were really close.
I think you're right on that, though. Yeah, I think so.
You know.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Right.
Here it is. He was in New York. He's coming to Connecticut all the time, and he was down to share the information. And I
remember my first SAOC seminar when they went public in Long Island was with going down with Eddie Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So, how about you, Chris? Any regrets? Anything?
See, here's the thing: is that, I mean, you know my history and whatnot, and some things went down that I wish didn't happen and all that. But even considering that a regret, I don't know if I can, because it brought me to the place where I am now. You know, I am the person I am now because of the great stuff that happened to me in the past and the crappy stuff. So as far as my initial was, that's a regret. But then I'm like, no, that made me the person I am today, the practitioner, the person, the whole thing. So I'm going to pass on the regret thing.
No, it's just, you know, I do have one regret, but I have a very similar parallel experience, which you're referencing. Like when I left Atienza and SAOC, I'm like, you know, did I do the right thing? But then when I look back now at the other systems I got in, which I truly found what I'm looking for, I absolutely did the right thing. So now those regrets, they're not regrets anymore. It was just a path traveled, and you know, I'm getting to work, kind of going up the steps, whatever, what have you. The one I regret not getting a picture, because even though I left, there was things I admired about him and that I liked about him, that he brought edge weapons back to the forefront. He was using the word Kali. I regret not getting a picture with Tuan Sayak. Yeah, I regret, you know what I mean? Like, I got pictures of Carl, me and Carl, you know, Ron, yourself, all my teachers. I really regret I never got a picture with Tuan, Chris. Yeah, so okay, so we got through regrets. What most proud accomplishment in FMA, Chris LaCava, to date? Could be 1, 2. Doesn't have to be.
I mean, the instructor test, that was a proud moment, but nothing beats my graduation from Stockton multi-style. That was grueling. That was absolutely grueling. And being 49 years old, 48 years old, going through that, you know, to be honest, I didn't think I was going to make it. I almost died. I was like, oh, I'm done. I'm done. But like, it's like, you know what? Let's just finish this out. Let's just take it for as hard and as long as it goes.
Yeah.
So to me, making it through and graduating from Stockton Multi-Style would be one of my highest achievements, the things that I'm really proud of.
Yeah, I would be. How about you? How about you, Chris? Chris and Chris.
You know what? I think the thing that I guess it's actually not even an accomplishment. It's nothing that I did. It was something that was done for me that I just benefited from. And that is this was somewhere like around 2001, maybe 2002, something like that. And Guro Don Cuesta called me up and he asked me if I knew where Wesleyan University is. And I'm like, yeah, I know where it is. It's in Middletown. Because, he's coming up from New Jersey. And he's like, well, I am doing a seminar. Will you help me? And he called me. He called Tom Herlihy. And I'm like, of course I'll help. I mean, like, that was, again, so I didn't do anything. But he's asking me,
Yeah, dude.
So we go there. We do the seminar. And, it was a blast. I like, because I have been, I've helped other instructors in other systems before, but this is my first time helping teach FMA, at a pretty solid university,
Yeah, Wesleyan, yeah.
And at the end of the demonstration and seminar, the school came up to him and they said, listen, we loved it. We want you here. We want you to come and teach. And he's like, I'm not coming up every week from New Jersey to teach Dos Pares.
Yeah.
But he can. And he pointed to me and he gave me the job.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I like him, man.
Very cool.
I thought, I always enjoyed him. He was always just such a nice guy, Don Cuesta.
Yeah.
Just a genuinely seemed like a warm-hearted person, just generally a good guy. Mine was, and not there's a few others, but becoming a trainer in a muck because it was so difficult, not just because of the sparring and what you had to do as far as the physical content, but what you have to know how to present the system, like the triangles, the circle functionality, the whole methodology that you have to map out on the board. It's like painstaking. I mean, it really takes a lot of hours because you got to remember this while you're putting up. You can't have a notebook there and like reference. Like you got to remember. Yeah, and it's and going through that. And the intro courses, if somebody comes, how the 6 classes you bring them through, it just was really like I felt like I was like in college again, or what my last miserable. Yeah. So when I got that done, I like it just that just because it was twofold. There was a physical, and then there was a that aspect of. You had to put it on the board to show that you could, in fact, relay this information and that you remembered it and stuff. So that's what comes to my mind. Yeah.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Very cool.
At the time it was. All right, I'm trying to think of other things. I love this like open table stuff. Like it makes it so easy without following like an outline for us questions. But if you guys jump in,
I'll share something that was a cool moment.
Yeah.
It wasn't necessarily FMA related, but it was an FMA personality.
We can't, if it's not FMA related, Chris.
Forget. I'm out of here. So I was teaching up in Buffalo at one of Tim Hartman's events, and he had Bobby Tabawada up there.
Oh wow.
Teaching as well. And he was saying how his neck hurt and his shoulders hurt, and Tim had said that, he's a licensed acupuncturist. Do you want him to work on you? And he was like, well, okay. So I actually got to work on him a little bit. And to me, that was a
working on a
cool thing.
legend. Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. I'm like, dude.
Yeah.
That's
you
cool.
know? So I'm doing like gua sha on them and doing some other techniques, which was really cool. You know, I look back, I even have a picture. Somebody took a picture of it. And I was like, oh, yeah,
there's another
to me,
good guy,
that's cool.
man.
You know,
in North Carolina, visiting Bico. He's such a good guy, man. There's another treasure. But here's another one. I came out with another one.
Mm-hmm.
Biggest thing you did where there was fear that you got over, like fear is FMA related that you had that you did that, but there was initial anxiety and fear that you had to work through. But at the end, you were like, "I'm so glad I did this," and all that. So, Chris,
how much do I share?
I'm gonna go with some dating.
So okay. Something where I had initial fear, something that I got over.
Yeah, and then at the end, you were like, "I'm so glad I didn't back out of this. That I went through it." Yeah.
So, how do I put this? So working with the Stockton guys,
okay.
I saw the videos. People talked about them, saying, "Oh, dude, they're rough. They're gonna put the hurt on you." Especially because you come from this lineage, they're gonna put the smack down on you. They're gonna headhunt you. And I was like, that kind of sucks, you know.
Just what you want to hear.
So then eventually Nelson contacts me because like this was during the time when I didn't want to talk to anybody in FMA. I just wanted to train, right? I didn't want organizations. I didn't want anybody. Let's just train. Good. So I finally got to the point where I was like, you know what? I want to continue with this style of FMA. So I ended up reaching out, and that was my initial hesitation was maybe they are going to put the smackdown on me. Maybe they are going to headhunt me, you know, but it wasn't like that at all. They were very warm. And so after the initial contact and the training and all that, it was one of those things like, oh, thank God I made the effort.
Yeah,
I didn't suck it up and be like, oh, never mind.
Yeah,
it was well worth it, you know.
I have two. Go ahead, Chris. Actually, you go first, Chris. Go. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Do you still have another one? I'm sorry.
Dean, you know what?
We have to get
killing me here, kid. If you don't want me to talk, just say it. Just pull up aside and be like,
I'm getting Chris and Chris. I'm just.
But the other one was the actual training, you know. It was actually getting hit, getting swung at within range, you know. And am I able to actually, you know, because we do drills left and right, you know, all this kind of stuff, but I've never really had somebody go full bore on me, you know. All these techniques I do, very few did I ever really pressure tested to like somebody like, you know, go balls to the wall on me. But now it's like, dude, it's like every technique they're doing, they're going balls to the wall. Not to the people who are just starting, of course, but like eventually that's where I got to get to. I got to get to where this dude's going to swing on me, right? And I have to get over that fear. I have to put my faith into the technique and into my technique to be able to pull this off because I'm seeing it getting pulled off. I know it can get pulled off by multiple people. So it's not like the one person is, you know, bang, bang, you know, and he's blocking everything on these hard shots. But like I'm watching everybody and they're all blocking them. And I'm like, I need to step up my game. So the fear of taking heavy hits repeatedly was another fear I had to get over.
I can see that. Like, I mean, even the people that have done that before or maybe have experience in that, and that's still, I'm sorry, if you don't have any anxiety, man, I don't care who you are, man. Come on now. You know what I mean?
Going into it, it's nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
But like fortunately they have a great teaching progression to get you to it. Which I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, you're like, oh good. There's some intervals.
There's actually a path to get to there from where I am. Good. Awesome.
But
excuse me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So yeah, I'm done, Dean. I'm not talking anymore.
So okay, so I can okay. All right, so it looks like I can go. So Chris, what do you got? So moment that again there was some initial fear, anxiety, but at the end it wasn't as bad as you thought it would be.
I've done 2 of gatherings. The first one, because I didn't know what to expect. I didn't even know I was going to do it.
Which gatherings? The swap gatherings?
Dog Brothers Gathering of the Pack.
Okay, all right.
So a friend of mine, we had gone out to California and to do some training, and we made the rounds. We went to like probably about 4 or 5 different places to train, and we had done a private lesson with Mark Denny, and so my buddy, he and Mark had stayed in communication throughout the entire trip. So it's time for us to go, where it's like we're all done training, we're about ready to go our separate ways, get on flights and stuff like that. And what happens is my buddy says, hey, Mark asked us to stop by. I told him we would stop by before we leave. I'm like, all right, cool, whatever. So we get to his house, and like there's a lot of people there. There's cars. Like I'm like, the other day when we did a private lesson at his house, there's like over 100 people in the park across the street from his house. And I'm like, what's going on? Is it a party? Is it a festival? What's happening? So I look, I'm like, oh wow, they're stick sparring. So we go, and as we get closer, and Mark comes out and he's like, hey, you made it. Awesome. This is awesome. You're going to do it. And I'm like, what's he talking about? Do what? Right?
Do what? Leave?
So my buddy's like, I kind of told him that we would do this. And I'm like, what? Wait a minute. Hold on. You're telling me now? And I'm like, well, I don't have any gear. All my gear is packed. I don't have any. We got a stick for you. We got a helmet. I'm like, oh man. Yep. And then I told you, Dean, they put me in front of Felix, who I'm like,
Felix was, I hear from the folks, man.
Evil. And
rest in peace, but yeah.
He hit me upside the head, because I'm still like, you know what I mean? Like I'm looking at a guy on the ground. He's got blood coming out of his head. There's other guys sitting there bandaging themselves up. And I'm just like, I'm sitting, I got a borrowed stick and a borrowed helmet. And Felix just goes, bang. And I'm like, he just hit me. He just hit me. Bang. He just hit me again.
And he didn't ask. He just
like, you know what I mean? Like, that joke, I wasn't ready yet. And then it was literally when he cocked back to do the 3rd hit, I'm like, I got to do something, and that snapped me out of it. Afterwards, I'm like, okay, it really wasn't that bad.
Yeah. But I can see that's nerve, man. You're going there with the intention of saying goodbye, and then before you're getting thrown in with a backyard Lamicco guy who's notorious for scrap, and who was jacked back then.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I could see that being quite legitimately, yeah. I could see. Yeah, wow. Mine's not going to match that. But mine was because at times, depending on the amount of people, social anxiety. If I'm around people I know, you wouldn't even know it. So New Hampshire, I had to go up there and do that, which was a wonderful experience, and I'm so glad I went through it and didn't pack out or what have you. But I remember the night before, and people were telling me, yeah, there's 200 people.
Ooh.
And I'm like, okay, 200 people. All right, I'm just. All right, and I'm going to be teaching with other people that I don't know, and there's 200 people like that too. Just got 200. And yeah, So I go in there that day with Tim. Luckily, Tim Hartman and PJ Ty were there. They were just so helpful and, just wonderful to be there with, and, showed me the ropes and definitely put me at ease. But so I did the intro, and you're supposed to stand up, and you're like, and I'm like, defrag off from me, and I try to go sit right back down. And Tim Hartman goes, no, get back up. He goes, this guy does FMA discussion. This guy just doesn't want to talk. This guy is just like, and so then the teaching. But I got to tell you, man, that night before, I'm going to be honest, I was anxiety ridden. I just the sheer volume people. I've never been in a venue that big to teach. I was overwhelmed. Yeah,
I could see how that could happen.
But at the end, I tell you, at the end of it, I'm
fine.
so glad I went through with it. It was such a learning curve and experience to have more confidence and trust in more myself with larger groups and format. It was the best thing, that could have happened to me.
Do you want to know something weird? It's a little inside scoop that maybe I shouldn't be sharing, but I used to play in a band, and I played a lot of shows. We played all over the place. I went on tour in Europe, blah, 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 blah. But like before every show, I'd always get nervous. I'd always, no matter how long I've been playing, before every gig, I would have that touch of nerves, like, ooh, okay. So I would have like a little shot before I would go play, and we would have like a band shot, right? We'd have a band shot, and everything would be good. We would get trashed because I've been there and then saw a videotape of me, and I really wasn't the rock god I thought I was when I was drunk. So therefore, that stopped. So it was one shot beforehand. But once we hit that first note, we were fine.
You kicked in. You clicked in.
Everything just kicked in. And it's the same thing for like teaching. Like before a big camp or whatnot, I still get nervous, But once I start teaching, then it's like, okay, we're in. We're flowing now.
Funny. Yeah. You're right. It clicked in. Like I was doing stick grappling was my first thing. So I'm like, hey, look, man, you need to swing at my head. If I get hit, my fault. But I want you to really show the intent. So, I had to click in, man, or I'm getting freaking my skull cracked open in front of 200 people. So,
right.
Boom. And, so I immediately, but yeah, much to your point, the moment the green light came on, I clicked in. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, but, still, I also see what you're saying. Like, even though that was very helpful, instrumental as far as my confidence, but it's not to say if I go there next year, I'm going to be free of nerves. No, I just don't. They won't be as elevated.
Stress inoculation. The more you do it, the less you'll get nervous.
Yeah.
But for me, there's always that little bit of anxiety, that little bit of nerves. It might be part of what makes it so exciting for me. I don't know, but I know it's always there. But once you get in the flow, you're good to go.
No. All right, I think go ahead.
I was going to say, I think as a society, I guess, people have maybe given that anxiety a bad name, and like it as if it means you're scared. Because technically, it doesn't mean you're scared. Medically speaking, you're supposed to get anxious anytime you're going to do something. You know what I mean? It's your heart's racing because it's pumping blood to major muscle groups and organs, and you know what I mean? Your breathing is changed to keep up with the blood that's flowing. Your pupils are dilated because you're about to lock in. So you've got these changes that are actually helping you do something positive or giving you the tool, the energy or the power that you're going to need to do what you have to do.
Yep.
But when you're just sitting around, it feels horrible. You know what I mean? But so I think a lot of times we get even after all these years, we still get confused. It's like, am I scared? I'm like, no, I'm not scared. That's just we're
just
supposed
his
to
body
get
going into a sympathetic response, the
Right.
fight or flight, you know,
Guys,
and it's just prepping you to do what you need to do.
when I walked in that door, I was scared.
Well, I was scared.
I was scared.
Fair enough. All good.
What else? I'm trying to think of. All right, fear, success, most impressive thing from an instructor. You guys got anything? Why I'm thinking?
I'll tell you something that some of my friends from my childhood do, and my cousin used to do this. It was a game that we would play. So we would go if you go to a sports bar, right? You know, and they've got all kinds of paraphernalia. You know what I mean? Like there's a baseball bat, there's a helmet, there's a lacrosse stick, a hockey stick, an oar, all these different things, you know, for sport. And we would always sit there and go, hey, if it goes down, what's the first thing you grab? Right? But I think that's I think that's really important. You know what I mean? Like
around the place going, he's getting taken out first.
Right.
So you mean besides looking at the exits, what is the first weapon of opportunity I'm going to grab?
Right. So I guess my question to you guys would be, besides a firearm, a sword, or a knife, if someone broke into your house, what's the? I mean, I guess we can allow a knife because there's knives everywhere, right, in your house.
I mean, knife.
But
not all of them.
Besides the knife, what weapon would you grab to defend yourself?
My wife.
I mean, outside of a knife, anything that had a blunt, something that would have consequence from a blunt translation.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like so whether that was, whatever, if it was a pan on a stove, something that absence of an edge, something that could have impact or consequence from a blunt translation.
I'm picturing Dean now running through his house with a cast iron skillet going, like pulling a El Kabong as, what is that, Tangled with Rapunzel?
No, you guys see my Piper, my shimmer with the iron Zulu.
Yeah.
That, or I'm going to tell you something, chair.
Chair.
I'm going to tell you something. Burn. It's funny. Burn asked me one time, and sometimes he asks the most interesting, fascinating questions, but it'll kind of parallel what you're asking me. And he goes, "Hey, if you're in a restaurant and this guy is attacking whatever, and you got to defend against him and all that, and you have, you have the knives there, but they're the butter knives and all that, and what would you take the butter knife or would you take the chair?" And I'm like, and I said, I think I'll take the chair, And he goes,
I think I'll take the chair.
He goes, absolutely right. He goes, chair. He goes, so that's why I said chair. I'm like, that story that he was asking me kind of clicked, because now I'm running those four legs, man, like
right.
Oh yeah.
And if it breaks, you've got 4 sticks now.
So yeah. So absence of like something tangible I could just grab, whether it's a frying pan, a flashlight, a rolling pin. He's getting the 4 legs of that chair, man.
Take it all.
So, Chris, what's your answer?
So, I'm a little confused. So like, no knife, no sword, no gun.
Right.
Are you saying you can't have those?
Yeah.
Well, it's easy. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, I'm saying, like
I live in South Carolina, y'all. You're gonna get probably all three at you.
Shotgun, you know.
I mean, I'm a fan of all of that.
All right.
I'm a huge fan. Listen, shoot them, then stab.
Yeah. I mean, so I also do some wood turning and whatnot. So I have stuff hanging around, you know, that are pieces of wood that are various lengths and whatnot. Tire hitters, you know, tire beaters. You know, I mean, but I agree that chair action. I've seen enough WWE, WWF to be like, I like it. But oh yeah. And plus, here's the thing. With a chair, if you're like my age and you grew up on, you know, Saturday morning Kung Fu theater, how many times did those guys grab benches and chairs and whatnot? And that's just cool as hell. See? I'm like, I would definitely pick up a chair even for that fact.
I know.
You know? So but there's just so many to be honest, so many weapons of opportunity within a house. Whatever is not nailed down, I'm probably going to grab and try to hit somebody with it. You know, whether it stays in one piece or not, who cares? You know, they're going to get that initial damage.
They're in that chair.
You know,
they got chaired.
I guess it depends on where I am. If I'm downstairs,
right,
and we're eliminating the knife, the sword, or a firearm
that you're always carrying on you anyway.
Actually, I always carry a knife.
You know what I'm saying? That's why it's like.
So we're gonna eliminate that, but we're gonna say I'm in my pajamas. I'm in my pajamas. Listen, man. We got this. The meat tenderizer thing, man.
Oh yeah, those are great, man.
Right? You know.
I'm in the kitchen. I'll get the hammer of Thor on his ass. Drop it. And my wife wonders why I call the meat tenderizer Mjolnir.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah. You're just wow.
Crack. But yeah, it would depend on the room, what's available.
That's just it. Like I'm just thinking, like, yeah, obviously whatever I could immediately grab that could have impact or consequence, but there you go. That's what I mean. Share.
You know, I gotta tell you guys. So a couple weeks back, I was cleaning out the bed of my pickup truck, and I had, you're just throwing out. You got this, you got that, and I had like 4 pieces of PVC, about a little bit more than an inch in diameter, very durable, and it was easily 3 feet long. And I'm like, as I'm taking it out, I'm like, oh no, we're gonna put this back. This is staying. Right? You know, it's gonna be in the and it's still in the bed of my truck.
Just be careful in the wintertime. It gets real fragile. PVC gets real fragile when it gets cold.
Okay.
So you smack somebody with it, it's gonna crack.
It's still
gonna
gotcha. PVC sucks to get hit with.
Oh, it does. Oh, definitely. Good questions.
So go ahead.
Good questions.
Yeah, I know. I'm thinking, okay, so that was weapons of opportunity. I got one for you guys. Wait, I got one for you guys. And this might have been when I interviewed you guys. This could have been asked.
Oh boy.
Favorite FMA weapon to train in and to teach. So to train in, or you find that you enjoy teaching the most. Could be the same, maybe not.
I'll go.
Sure.
To train in?
Correct.
The staff.
Okay.
I just really fun.
Yeah, awesome.
Really, really fun.
Yeah.
I'm kind of torn between, as far as like my favorite weapon. It should be the knife, because like for self-defense purposes, it's over. But I'm gonna say the stick, because I can control the amount of injury that I cause.
Hmm.
You know, I mean, I guess if I really need to make sure that this guy doesn't go home, I can. But I also can just make sure that they limp home.
Yeah, Chris.
So I'm a little my thought process on the knife is a little different. Is that I can actually choose how much damage I want to do. Because if the knife is not fully deployed, I can use it as an impact weapon. I can use it as a fist load. I could use it, But
Piper,
then
man.
I start thinking legally. So then my thought process goes, even though I may not have a knife fully deployed, and this is a topic to think about, no matter who you are. It's like if you're fighting somebody and it's not a deadly force level, and I introduce a deadly force weapon, even though it's not fully deployed, that's where a lot of people get like caught up. It's like, but it's not fully deployed. If you pull out a handgun and it's not loaded, did you still bring a deadly weapon to the thing? Because now that person thinks you have a loaded firearm. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They don't know. So it's like, I don't know. And people can debate this left and right. I don't really have a big dog in the fight on that one. But for me, having a knife, I can choose how much damage I want to do, right? If it's just impact or it's edge and I want to cut, am I cutting just tendons or am I cutting, going for major lacerations? Am I going for, is it merely just to cut enough to get that clock ticking to where they start going, this is not good. This is not good. I want to stop. So that my favorite is the knife.
Cool.
The favorite to train in would be sword, like bolo type,
Awesome.
size.
I actually got the same as Chris. My favorite to teach is knife, because just through training, well, Chris, I mean, you're gonna appreciate this. You've seen like where I went and started with this. Back in your place for school, empty hand, the videos I made, and all that. So knife, teaching it, and plus incorporating like the Piper aspect where there is damage control because now you're using the knife as a blunt. You're targeting bone, stuff like that. But at the same time, you can escalate it to hitting the legs. You could further escalate it to now where you're going, into arteries and and more areas, such as that, for instance, or major vital target areas. But for practicing and training, it's about Punta de Dagger, KI. To me, it's just like it's so eloquent. It's almost infinite as far as like development to refine in it. I just find that it's like an ever going puzzle, to get the harmony of it and just to be really proficient and all that. Just yeah. So that would be my answers.
That's cool. That's very cool. That's a great question because, you know what I mean? Both of your answers really made me think about a lot of stuff there.
Yeah, if you look at Piper knife, what people don't understand because of the bad nature of the name, which I understand why people have that lens of it because they're unfortunately I hate to say it, somewhat deserving, but not from the sanction of Lloyd. Um, it's really emphasized. I particularly emphasize to my students that control, damage control, like, what are you doing? Are you looking at your exit? What are you doing just to exit? In other words, we have what we call lock and drop, where you go like this and you're targeting a kneecap or the leg, but really you're controlling the damage while simultaneously having an exit. So people don't understand that about Piper. Like, it really addresses that. I take the back of the knife because there's boxing, there's three components of Piper: boxing, C-lot, and of course Zulo stick and shield, and a Zuni stick fighting system. But now I turn this over. Now I use the boxing, boom, and hit there like that. So it's so unfortunate that Piper's so misconceived and all that. But to me, it addresses those areas of damage control and exits, I think, as a whole, far better than FMA does. Obviously, there's some FMA that do that. I don't want to throw them all under an umbrella. As a whole, though, I think Piper addresses it better as a whole. And that's why I think that system is, but it sucks. It has a bad name. It's like, and the gangs, the criminal activity, the numbers, the hoods on. I mean, we're not allowed to do videos with hoods on. We're not allowed to have numbers associated with us because we want to really stay clear of that and show that, hey, we're not about this. You know what I mean? I know I'm segueing off to a different lens here, but just as far as that is concerned, okay, we're gonna think of another question here. This is too much fun. Let me see here. I asked what you guys favorite to train and all that. Least favorite to teach. You can do it, but it's not really, putting you at your best and all that. But you can do it. It's just,
flexible weapons.
Okay.
Good call.
I'm fair.
Yeah,
and that's a little generous. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, if you're just a regular guy on the street, yeah, I can be a threat to you. If you're a seasoned practitioner,
not so much.
Not so much. So, Dean
goes up like.
So, a couple years ago, Jesus Christ. So, at the very first studio that I had, right? Yeah. Daryl and I, we put the helmets on. He's got stick and single stick and a short staff that he's using as a shield. And I've got a single stick and a sarong.
Gladiators.
And yeah, I didn't do so hot.
Yeah, you're running flexible, and he's got a shield and a penetrating blunt. And
yeah.
Thinking how you would get the sarong to basically match against. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I even tried. So the first round, I'm like, all right, that wasn't good.
Yeah.
But then I said, you know what? I need weight in the sarong.
Yeah.
And then it'll work better, So I put tennis balls in there, right? So now I've got a little bit of weight to manipulate it.
Impact, yeah. Okay.
But still, that shield that it was a force multiplier that I just couldn't. I couldn't compensate for.
Yeah, that's what makes it shield and spear. Like you look at the Zulu stick fires, and you see it in Piper that the frame out. Like in other words, I pull the weapon back here, I trigger back, I put this hand out. I mean now, it's now imagine what Daryl was doing now with a stick.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see that's a tough combo, man. Yeah.
Good experience.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I definitely left me with a lot to think about.
Sure. Yeah.
But yeah.
How about you, Chris? Least that doesn't really like it. You could do it, but it's not really.
I agree with Chris on this one. The flexible weapons is
flexible.
One of those things that I can hang with, but I'm not the guy. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's actually, I have some friends who are really good at it. And even one guy, Coach Jeff Berger from Boston, from Massachusetts, man, he did like a video on it. And like Jeff is one of those guys that has been doing martial arts for years, and he trains with everybody under the sun. And he did like a flexible weapons video and whatnot, and really cool stuff. Like it's eye opener stuff. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Wow.
I am not at that level. I am not. Once again, flexible weapons are cool. I like them. I just am not as proficient as, say, other tools, tools of the trade
Sure.
that we have.
So
yeah, I'm going with flexible weapons as well.
Me, I appreciate it. I like it. I just haven't put enough time into it, so I wouldn't enjoy teaching it staff. But I'm changing that. I'm starting a program, Burton.
I know.
I just Burton to the rescue.
Yeah, I'm not looking to get like, A plus, but I definitely want to get some semblance of being proficient with it. You know what I mean? It's an area that I've neglected just for a multitude of reasons, I suppose. But yeah, so I'm looking definitely forward to that. But yeah, that's something I wouldn't teach. Yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't be signing it. You wouldn't be seeing my name signing up for it.
Guest instructor teaching the staff. Guro Dean Franco.
We flew in special just for this class.
Yeah.
We got it. Ooh, I just happened to look over here because this conversation has been excellent. What other arts work well, Kali? A ton of them, but here, I'll let you go first. What do you think? What other arts work well, Kali? Question that came in.
I would, if you're asking me, if we're talking self-defense, I would say jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Can't argue that, man. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, ground. I mean, so you have the ground component, with everything else. Yeah. How about you, Chris?
Without the obvious answer, jiu-jitsu. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Right off from under me. No. I'll be honest. Some of depending on the style of FMA, some of the karate styles could actually be very applicable in FMA. Right?
That's all.
And I'm thinking of specific like Kyokushin schools, where the power is there, the rotation of the hips, the stance work. For some of the stuff that I've seen, some styles of FMA, a lot of footwork, a lot of movement. Other styles, not so much. More structured, more solid footing. And the more solid footing class styles, I think, goes really well with some of the hard karateka type, styles. Once they get into the flow, because when you see a really good Japanese, especially like a Kyokushin practitioner, they work their hands as well. They're doing these drills and these forms. When they do them with flow, it's like, oh, dude, you could do FMA. You could do it, because a lot of people only think when they think, karate.
Yeah.
Right, they're doing that.
Yeah.
But when you watch a good practitioner, a guy who's been doing it a while, dude, they flow like water, bro.
No,
and they could actually do really well with FMA.
I believe that. Yeah.
There's a guy. He's a martial artist. He's on Instagram, and I would say Taekwondo is like the strength of what he does. But I mean, you can see he's done some boxing. He's probably done some Muay Thai. I know he's taken classes in FMA at either the Inasanto Academy or at the IMB. But he's done he does a lot of fight choreography. The guy's name is Noah Fleder, Fleder, Noah Fleder. So he does like all kinds of like cool fight choreography all the time. But he blends, to your point, FMA with these high-flying kicks and spin kicks and some other stuff. And it's really cool to see,
That's cool.
Yeah. My answer is wrestling clinch, knowing underhooks, overhooks as weapons, knowing how to negate their recovery or their access to draw.
Are you talking about more like like a Muay Thai clinch, or are you talking more like a shoot?
I'm talking about just pure like wrestling, you know, just
wrestling,
knowing how to control, you know, like underhooks, overhooks, knowing the 2-on-1s, arm drags. To me, wrestling is so freaking key. A, it negates takedowns. B, it enables you to take down. C, it enables you to get on corners, post control while watching and monitoring the other hand. To me, fundamentally, wrestling is just a must. I feel like for combative street, just knowing that area or being fluent in that area, to me.
I can see that.
And those drills, those people, what people call stupid drills, like pummeling drills, you know, where you're swimming in and whatnot. Those are phenomenal drills.
Yeah, you
can get over the repetition and the basicness of them.
Yeah,
they develop into super skills.
No, it's totally. You get a Division One
applicable.
And you try to stop him from taking you down, and you've never done any wrestling or sport. Good freaking luck, man.
Yeah,
let me know how that works out for you. And so I think it's just a vital. You know what I mean? But you could make the argument Western boxing. Why? If you're a good Western boxing, all the Filipino sectoring is going to be, I think it's going to be easier. You know what I mean? The empty hands, the trapping and all that. So there's an argument for boxing.
Well, I was just thinking, so if you take jiu-jitsu and you take FMA, you pretty much have got self-defense covered, pretty much. Now, if you take FMA and give it to a Wing Chun man, sorry, Wing Chun guys, I believe you'll make his Wing Chun better.
Yeah.
I believe it'll become tighter, nastier.
Wing Chun practitioners can transition very easily, with their work at the center line and all the different hand drills and everything. It makes it for a Wing Chun practitioner to be able to work into FMA much easier than the average person.
Sure.
I believe. Yeah,
just the center line presence. I mean, just, you know what I mean? Just the owning of center. I mean, it's, for sure. Here we go. We asked what other FMA style would you do? How about what other martial art, if the time allowed itself and all that, would you do that was non-FMA related? So Chris Smith, what other art would you like to do if you had the time that was non-FMA related?
Not FMA related. I'll give you 2.
Okay.
So I've been fortunate to have been exposed to a lot of different stuff, through we have some of the same training partners, so I've seen wrestling and I like it. I've seen judo and I like it. I would say fencing.
Ooh.
Fencing.
That's God, that's
why.
Something.
What's that?
Why?
Because
I think it's cool, and I know why I think it's cool. But why do you think it's cool?
I think it's cool. I think because those guys have superior reaction time. Number one, I think I get the impression that the whole world looks slow to them.
Their perception and reaction's got to be off the chain.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, their ability to read and assess distance. Like, yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
I'm with you on that.
I mean, look at like, I tell you right now, like if you look at like some of the most non-telegraphic people, they had fencing. Bruce Lee, and people, and you guys, Ray Floral, Ray Floor was one of the most non-telegraphic guys out there. And guess what his background was?
Fencing. Wow.
So it's not coincidental, man, that, yeah. So, yeah. So fencing, yeah, no argument here, man. That's, yeah. How about you, Chris LaCava?
I think I do shoot wrestling.
Shoot wrestling.
Wrestling.
At 50 years old, man, I'm entering shoot wrestling.
See, that's the thing. This is more like a what would you want to do rather than a what should you do.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. That's true.
Listen, let me have my thing. No, I think wrestling. I think I don't know. Maybe I have, I don't know. I think wrestling, like Greco-Roman wrestling, or just or shoot wrestling, American wrestling, something along those lines.
Yeah.
Sure.
Something outside of BJJ, which is similar, kind of like something that runs with it, but it's not it. You know what I'm saying? Part of my stupid ego is like, well, everybody does BJJ. I don't want to do BJJ. I want to do something different. It's just something that runs through people's minds. So like wrestling, shoot wrestling, stuff like that. I definitely would dig. I would enjoy it.
Sure.
Whether or not my body could handle it, I don't know. But you asked, I told you.
That's all. That's all. No, yeah. I like the eclectics. So like I chose Piper. I like systems that are kind of remote there, that are kind of off the beaten path. So my next one would be Eskrima Crayola. It's an art out of Argentina, and they use a lot of the poncho and the knife and all that.
Oh, really?
It's freaking so fascinating. And I can't wait to find the time to like do it, but it's so freaking fascinating. So there were gauchos, cowboys in Argentina. So it's a fusion of what I understand, obviously the Spanish coming over, and then, and the natives that were there, and now you had a fusion. But so the cowboys, but it's, you have the gancho, and you have different lengths of knives and all that. But it's so freaking fascinating. It's like, yeah, and they had those. I actually might have it here. Hold on. Yes, I do.
I'm afraid what he's gonna pull out here.
So I forget. So you take it and you throw it. So yeah, and yeah, that's great, Dean. Sure, that looks like you just got that from mail order.
Yeah.
But I'm just kidding. But anyhow, yeah.
Are those like bolos? Like
that's
where you throw them and they wrap around something?
Exactly, but it's part of this art. It's so freaking fascinating, and so I'm hoping. Like I wanted, but here's the problem. Obviously, it's not widely taught. It's not like there's teachers just coming out of the woodwork. So there's obviously the guy who lives in Argentina, who I've spoken to, a very nice guy. Matter of fact, I had him on the show. And there is somebody in the States that teaches this, but I can't wait for things to slow down because it's something I really want to look into and do.
What's the name of the style again?
Eskrima Crayola. So
as in the crayon.
What's that?
As in the crayon?
So Criolla.
Crayola. Oh, okay.
All right. So it's if you want to look up, from Argentina. Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, that would be it for me. Yeah.
I have a poncho. I have plenty of ponchos.
I played around with it. So I took a towel basically, and but it's so neat because now the towel, not only can you hide the strikes coming behind it, but it's also now a blocking mechanism because you have the towel wrapped around there.
You have extra layers to cut through.
There you go. And come to find out, when I did some research on it, that also came from Europe. So that was kind of the Europe influence. So it's fascinating. It's just one of the things I would like to really kind of train and go into and all that. But right now, I'm just not going to throw something else in there and not be able to commit.
You've already got a lot on your plate, Dean.
I know. Yeah. I know. Yeah, I'm gonna sign up for this. Yeah. But man, this has been awesome. So if you guys got something else, or I can't think of any other questions, but if you guys got something else,
No, it's good hanging with you guys.
It was
yeah,
really
this was
cool.
perfect, and
Really cool.
a ton of comments. People seem to enjoy it. So yeah, so if we don't talk, obviously we're seeing each other 10 o'clock at
10
Chris's
o'clock
school.
on Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool.
and then we'll
I'm
just,
looking forward to it. We're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I'm actually looking forward to jumping into both of you guys' classes.
yeah, for sure.
So-
And I sent it around again, and so usually maybe like Thursday, Friday, I'll circulate it again. We get the word out there, what have you.
Okay.
So
Cool.
yeah, hopefully 10 people. I'm looking forward to it though. It should be a lot of
All
fun.
right. I'm gonna go finish loading up the vehicle and getting on the road in a couple hours.
I know. Well, hey, have a good, safe trip. Okay.
Yeah, Chris.
Thank you.
Travel
I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah. And we'll see. So yeah, just shoot us a message when you're up here so we know you got it safely.
I appreciate it. We'll do.
Yeah. All right, man. You take care and drive safe. And I'm gonna see you guys Sunday.
Thank you. See y'all Sunday. And thank you everybody for hanging out.
Yeah, absolutely. They enjoyed it. All right, guys.
Cool.
Take care.
We'll see you later.
See ya.
Drive safe.
Peace.
All right, that wraps up episode 322. That was fun. I didn't come up with really an outline. I just kind of just winged it. We just figured we all kind of know each other. We could just kind of bounce off each other's energy and kind of see what came out with it. And I thought it went pretty well. Saved me a lot of trouble for an outline. And so glad you guys enjoyed that. Oh, Maestro Carlito, thank you. Chris, all right, awesome. And all right, guys, yeah, thanks for watching. And we'll see you next time, which I think is going to be this weekend. I'll double check. All right, guys, take care.